On this adventure, we take in Bang Luang, Lumpat, Phnom Penh, Sihanoukville, and the ancient temples of Siem Reap.
We meet the fighting spirit of the Cambodian people and have a fight just crossing the border. Why must I pay now? I have not had the service provided for the money. I'm giving you money for nothing now because we have done nothing except climb in the boat. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
We visit the sorrowful killing fields.
20,000 people were killed here. And they are all doctor, lawyer, professor, businessman, and include anyone who has suffered.
And attend a hospital lecture and cello concerto at the same time.
So tuberculosis is the killer number one. And this is weakening the population, especially the children.
Almost there. And we ride in style to the ancient temples of Angkor Wat.
You have to see here. Cambodia not my big. Here is small. And for
US dollars.
you have petrol. Very expensive. Buy a boat. $2,500.
You got ripped off.
Yes.
This is a bad way to come. Do not come from Laos to Cambodia because they try to charge you $60 US
We
for
make-
a 1 hour trip.
The same. They're the same.
And everyone in the world will see what happens here, and you will not get many tourists come here anymore.
This border finish.
No.
Your business.
We were stuck, and they knew it.
$40. Left right. The whole boat. 4 person. And people Cambodia. 7 people or 6 people, 8 person.
They weren't negotiating a cent. It was a familiar standoff that happens whenever a traveller arrives at this border. All the boatmen along the river wouldn't negotiate with their ringleader watching, and we argued so hard that their translator quit.
My translator. I strong translate everything for tourists.
Welcome to Cambodia. Prepare to be ripped off.
Forced to pay, but we refused to pay up front. Why must I pay now? I have not had the service provided for the money. You see?
No, we
listen,
haven't
sir.
had the service
The
yet.
service, we paid
You
for
haven't
the service. Nothing has happened. We are in the boat and we must pay $20. Maybe halfway I pay $20 and then at the end I'll pay another $20. Halfway I'll pay 20, at the end I'll pay 20 because then you have done the service for the money. I'm giving you money for nothing now because we have done nothing except climb in the boat. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
They had heard it all before, but even though we were ripped off, we won our battle to pay at the other side of the river. Okay, let's go. After a short blast across the river, we arrived in about 10 minutes. That's $5 US a minute, more expensive than a London city cab. We arrived at immigration, and the official tried to get his cut.
We pay you $5 for the badge number.
Do you know the reason for the $5? What was the reason for the $5? So far, I wasn't impressed with our introduction to Cambodia. Leaving the border, we started for the remote isolation of Ban Luang. Shaken along Cambodia's disreputable road conditions, the inevitable flat tire gave me a chance to take photos and meet curious locals.
Oh no, I made
And so far, Cambodia wasn't too impressed with our misadventurous arrival.
I wasn't too impressed with Cambodia either. After only a few hours here, we were worn out from arguing touts, dodging bribes, and watching the driver change our tyre.
About 5 kilometres south of our destination, our driver detoured to the Yok Lum volcanic crater lake, where we cleansed ourselves of the dusty road.
A perfectly circled oasis in the middle of dense forest, travellers make the pilgrimage here from the red, powdered streets of Bangladesh.
Surviving US carpet bombing and brutal Khmer Rouge rule, the one restaurant in town is called American Restaurant. We drove through the isolated region of Ratanakiri towards Lumpat and stopped by the remote Sripot River.
Reputedly the inspiration for the film Apocalypse Now, where Martin Sheen sailed upstream from Vietnam in his search for the renegade Colonel Kurtz, played by Marlon Brando, I tried to negotiate my own boat ride on this infamous river. Only a handful of travellers make it to this region, but a local busybody came and demanded that whatever I offered be tripled immediately. I went looking for someone away from the lure of big tourist dollars to find a reasonable exchange. After all, I only wanted a short boat ride. But the woman from the village that smelt big bucks tried to stop me looking for local competition. I wondered if richer tourists on the hunt for Colonel Kurtz before me had paved the way by paying extraordinary prices. Well, that lovely woman wanted $30 for 20 minutes in her boat. As she tore down the river in her speedboat, some locals navigated her waves to ask if I wanted a ride. Ooh, my sexy legs.
Oh,
They love it, they think it's hilarious. So we got one for 5,000 real, which is just over $1. But the chances of tipping are quite high. I'll sit calmly in the middle. Now, as we get into the middle of the river, the chances of falling in become even greater in this rickety little sinking boat. None of the horror that represented this region in Apocalypse Now is evident. I had a calm boat ride with these bemused locals who saluted me goodbye. He's doing it, let me get him.
Leaving the isolation of Cambodia's northeast, we headed towards the metropolis of Phnom Penh. To get there, we arrived in Stang Klen, a small village perched on the Sekong River near the Lao border. We took the fast boat down the Mekong, 485 kilometres to Phnom Penh. The route is a popular one with backpackers because of its cheap fare, but we were warned about safety concerns with overcrowding, poor engine maintenance, and some boats not providing life jackets.
Arriving in one piece, we took a minibus the remainder of the journey to Phnom Penh. In the 20s, the city was known as the Pearl of Asia, and it grew to 2 million citizens by 1975. That year, the city fell to the Khmer Rouge, who within weeks emptied the city of its people to work in the countryside. Today, Phnom Penh has a population of only 1 million people.
As well as its numerous Buddhist pagodas, the city reflects its French colonial past and has a modern, edgy appearance. I had asked around and heard that the place to stay was Top Bananas, a relaxed backpacker hangout run by the laid-back Top Banana, 8 out of 10.
I gave it 9 out of 10, as Top Banana provided refreshments and backpackers provided the entertainment.
Well, I get out of bed, put my feet on the floor, 50-yard dash to the bathroom door, diarrhea, diarrhea. Diarrhea. Well, I pulled down my pants and I saw an avalanche. Diarrhea. Well, I pulled down my pants and I saw an avalanche. Diarrhea. You may think it's gross, but it's really good on toast. Diarrhea. Ow, yeah.
of Darkness is the book that Apocalypse Now was based on, and the club where everyone from Top Bananas goes on a Saturday night.
Another of the Top Banana Brigade was David from England, who got out of his hammock to tell us what he thought of Cambodia.
We've been in Cambodia for it's coming up to 3 weeks now, and I have to say I really am enjoying it. Best thing about it, I'd have to say probably the people. I think they're astonishingly friendly, especially considering what they've been through.
Despite this opinion, David told us what happened on his way home from Heart of Darkness last night.
We were walking back to the guest house because the taxi driver didn't know where we were, so we got off about 10 minutes away and we were walking. And the two men got off a motorbike, got out a gun, and told us to hand over our money. Yeah.
And what did you do?
Hand over our money. I only had 75 cents on me, so it wasn't any great loss. But the girl I was with, she had a necklace stolen, which was not nice. But I mean, it hasn't put me off the place at all. Really, I mean, these things happen. And
What else have you done in Phnom Penh?
yeah, we did the killing fields, and
What was that like?
it's a harrowing experience. It's worth experiencing anyway.
He recommended that before we went to the killing fields where thousands were executed, we visit the Tool Slain Museum, aptly translated as Hill of the Poison Tree. Formerly a high school, it was transformed into S21, a prison where some 17,000 entered and only 7 are known to have survived.
The classrooms were transformed into tiny crude cells where prisoners were shackled before interrogation and torturous death. It is easily the most hateful and wretched building I have ever walked through. Its sombre presence cut right through me. Each interrogation room now holds documentation and memories from the few survivors and former guards of S21. It tells of how their lives have been altered decades later.
Each uncomfortable step I took on the classroom tiles felt like walking on countless scenes of horrific torture. Paintings by a former prisoner illustrate the horrendous crimes that took place here, and thousands of photographs documenting each victim before interrogation speak volumes.
But S21 was not an execution ground. It was a place to painfully extract confessions. The executions took place at the killing fields of Juang Eek. Under the leadership of Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge murdered 20% of their fellow Cambodians. The killing fields is Cambodia's grieving ground.
This area that Pol Pot took 4 years, from 1975 to 1979, to execute the intellectual people that live in Phnom Penh. 20,000 people were killed here, and they are all doctor, lawyer, professor, businessman, and include anyone who has soft hand.
You mean just the soft hand?
Yeah, so they also killed. Because they know that those people, they can't work in the right field. Yeah, so that's why he don't want to use those people, and then they kill those people. Anyone who wear glasses, anyone have light skin, or anyone who could speak foreign language. Pol Pot also killed those people. Because during the time, Pol Pot wanted to start communism in Cambodia. But communism, Pol Pot is not really communist. So that's why that during the time he just want people to grow rice and just want people to work in the field. And almost people, when Khmer execute here, most of them were killed by the farming tools. Like axe, hoe, a hoe. The farmer used the
hoe.
Yeah.
Using farming implements, they killed them.
Yeah, because bullets were expensive, so he don't want to waste the bullets. Pol Pot, they don't like intellectual people, because those people are very bad against him. So that's why they try to kill whole family of the intellectual people. They just use axe, hoe.
8,000 exhumed skulls are encased in a 35-foot glass Buddhist shrine. Battered and bullet-ridden, they are neatly arranged in order of sex and age.
Children, they are relative of intellectual.
It was unnerving to be so close to the skulls of the faces that we had seen earlier at Tulsleen. Mass graves are scattered around the fields.
This is the grave number 7. That is also to be a special one. That my government know that these Khmer who killed their own soldier here. 166 people that we found here. They almost soldier when they killed him, they cut the head off. Because during the time, almost Khmer who soldier higher officer that they was not too much about Pol Pot, so they have to kill. So when they kill, they want to see the head. So this fight all the killer when they kill the soldier, they have to cut the head and send to Pol Pot. So that's why you can see this grave was headless. And that is palm tree. That is the best way for Khmer that he took the soldiers, the people. Sometimes, you know, that he take the branch of this palm tree used to cut the throat of the people. Because when they use the tree to cut the naked people, all prisoners not that immediately. Slowly, so take a long time.
Even though the graves were all enclosed, the pathways worn away by visitors revealed pieces of human bone.
The chilling impression of the day was hard to lose, and perhaps that's the point to Cambodia's genocidal tourism. Never forget. Over dinner, we discussed the uneasy day in a Cambodian, Mexican, American restaurant.
I'd lost my appetite anyway, but I'm not sure that Cambodia is the best place to order Mexican food, even though Phnom Penh boasts cosmopolitan cuisine. Pasar Tamay means new market. Built in 1937, it is known to tourists as the Central Market.
It's like a rabbit warren. I refuse to buy from anyone who spits and snorts.
That's everyone.
I'm not in the market for domestic appliances while I'm travelling, I'm afraid.
Soap. I've run out. That's why it stinks so much.
Now I know.
How much is your soap?
Jordan, this is a real nice one. This, my mother uses this one, sandalwood. Smell this.
Oh yeah, it's quite good. Pineapple smells
How
good.
much is this one?
Massive wad of cash you have. Actually,
I'm going over there to the clothes section.
I'm going to buy some more clothes.
Probably a bit small, but I'm going to
Clothes shopping
try.
with Camilla. Excellent.
Better than soap shopping with Julian.
I like soap. Like to be clean.
Well, I think I'd like
Smelly?
to have clothes. Oh, it looks too small. I don't really wear clothes that look like this. Oh. I'll look like a sausage in those.
What are you eating?
Yum yum.
Yum yum?
Yeah.
Yeah, no sugar. No, thank you. Just this, yeah. How much are these?
$3 for one. You take 2 for 5?
No. You do one for $2.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Outside the stall selling landmine t-shirts was one of Cambodia's 40,000 landmine accident survivors. It's a good book, this one. Yeah, many books. All in English. $3?
Yeah,
In Rial it's
real.
10 real is 12,000.
12,000 real.
12,000 real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah.
Cambodia is one of the most heavily mined countries in the world. There are almost as many landmines here as there are people, estimated at around 7 million. Cambodia Trust has made 24,000 prosthetic limbs for Cambodian amputees, the majority of whom are landmine accident survivors, many of these women and children working the fields.
ខ្ញុំទៅឋិនដល់ហើយវត្តពីរហ្នឹងវាគៀកគ្នាវត្តមួយខាងនេះវាត្រូវជាមួយពលពតអញ្ចឹងណាតែពីហ្នឹងដល់តែអញ្ចឹងទៅហែចូលតែអញ្ចឹងអត់អីដល់ហែហើយចេញមកវិញហើយវាកប់មានតោនាងហ្នឹងនៅមុខផ្ទះប្រធានភូមិ
Founded in England in 1992, the Trust began a school of prosthetics, training Cambodians to localise the knowledge. Today, the school trains students from other countries around the world.
Now we have the students from Laos, from Myanmar, from Brazil, from Solomon Island, Cambodia as well. So we have lots of people together. So the school becoming as a regional training center in prosthetic and orthotic.
The students also learn to fit prosthetics for other social problems like polio and cerebral palsy.
I want to help the disabled people in my country because my country have a lot of disabled people because we have landmines.
And this technique is best, and I would like to carry all the techniques to my country.
And then we find out first.
Silicone rubber is heated and moulded onto the cast, continuing the all-important moulding process for a perfect and comfortable fit. Even a well-made prosthetic will need ongoing repairs and adjustments, especially as most patients return to work in harsh environments, wearing out the device in about 2 years. This means that Cambodia Trust provides an ongoing service to its patients rather than a quick fix solution. Once fitted, the patients practice with their new prosthetics and the first steps are taken towards a more independent life.
This one is the mind injury amputation. So after the lost the limb, so he's not hopeless, very upset with his life. But after many years that he come here to see everybody here, like many amputee here, so he more better feeling because he compare with another people. He has some save up the money for buy the new motorcycle to be the motor taxi, and more easier for him to make a money.
And he has no problems driving a motorcycle?
Not any problem, very helpful.
Very good.
ពីមុនមកវាមានមែនក៏ប៉ុន្តែឥឡូវនេះប្រហែលជាវាគេកាត់បន្ថយខ្លះហើយអញ្ចឹងបាទហើយក៏ប៉ុន្តែអារម្មណ៍ខ្ញុំនៅតែខ្វល់ខ្វាយអាបញ្ហារឿងមីនហ្នឹងអ្នកដតីទៀតអាចអ្នកដតីទៀតក្រៅពីខ្ញុំពីព្រោះខ្ញុំអាចថាគាត់ថាបាទ
Very good.
Through Cambodia Trust's community outreach program, they keep in touch with their patients, visiting them in their homes to assist with life back in the community. ở sân khơm dương mình đang thà tí bưng ở vậy để luôn bị ca từ hơi và nó coi mau nhom mau tí trong nông pin đi có bàn mật phẹ lừa đầm đang tăng mật phẹ cái tha miền cà làm mai cái to trường ao đào ọt cật lôi và khi nhom cô ru re đang từ to trường để cà làm mai tại mà nó nè từ tới cái lên ta chặt tục dương nè bị cả hơi chặt tục thà đôi dương miền trơn là đôi kia này và đôi chân pi nha mà nhưng mà ai thưa vậy của bạn ai pi muôn máu nhưng mà ai thưa bạn thì
ខ្ញុំដើរតែchơiច្រត់ហ្នឹងដើរទៅក្នុងស្រែហ្នឹងវាផុងអាចchơiច្រត់ហ្នឹងដើរមិនដឹងរួចផងដល់ពេលខ្ញុំមានជើងទៅអត់មានពិបាកនឹងដើរទេ
The loss of crutches frees their arms, giving them full independence.
ជើងហ្នឹងស្រួលខ្ញុំដើរបានខ្ញុំដើរធ្វើការបានវាស្រួលជាងដើរchơiច្រត់ឆ្ងាយណាស់ដើរទៅវាឈឺបន្តិចមែនតែតើដើរឆ្ងាយបានឈឺដើរចិត្តធ្វើការងារផ្ទះធ្វើការកន្លែងធ្វើការដើរយកនេះយកនោះបានស្រួលមិនបាក់
We took a few days break from the city and headed for the beach. Kampong Sam is more widely known as Sunakville, only a short 4-hour bus ride on one of Cambodia's best roads. Promoted as Cambodia's premier beach town resort, it could also be described as Cambodia's only beach town resort. Sunakville is a modern city that looks to the future, boasting expat bars, casinos and no ancient ruins whatsoever. The main reason people come here though is for its white sandy beaches. We chose to stay away from the crowded Victory Beach on the prettier Serendipity. Unlike other Southeast Asia beach party destinations, this place is a little quieter. The swimming here is superb. Cool, clean water and not overcrowded. Just some local girls taking a break from selling tropical fruit to visitors. But as soon as I got out, so did they.
So how much is a fruit salad?
$2.50.
$2.50. And it's a big fruit salad, eh?
Of course.
Of course. Lots of papaya, please. I'll have one fruit salad.
Can you hold me by one because later I cannot come I'll be here.
Oh, maybe tomorrow morning then before I leave.
No, but I have to go to school tomorrow. I cannot come.
Why you not go to school today?
Because I already.
You already been to school?
Yeah.
What time does your school start?
I school 7 o'clock. Finish maybe 11 o'clock.
Finish 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
That's a good school. You don't have to go for very long.
Can you hold me by one, please? You can buy, give your friend chair. Okay?
Oh, I get too fat.
Just one fruit, okay?
She's persistent.
I have pineapple, watermelon, dragon fruit, mango, papaya, banana.
What doesn't she have?
Dragon fruit is the only
She don't have dragon fruit. It's good.
Very good.
Okay? You have to buy for me watermelon,
You
okay?
have to buy from everybody.
It's just 3 people, not everybody.
But there's still so much fruit. How will we ever eat this much?
Okay. Okay, Mister. You have to buy for me also.
Oh no!
You can buy from her papaya, buy for me lychee. Buy for me lychee, okay, please. Very good lychee. Very good lychee.
This
please.
man, he doesn't eat fruit. He
Yes,
doesn't like
please,
fruit.
yes, I don't think so. You don't have to eat fruit. If you eat fruit, make you more handsome.
Yeah, if it eat fruit, make you much more handsome.
He hasn't said yes yet.
I managed to escape the pestering fruit girls, but found some spicy treats further down the beach.
Extra chili, eh? One more chili.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vietnamese, cảm ơn.
Come on.
The beach is most famous for seafood and fruit, but they sell absolutely everything here.
After a morning swim and breakfast on the beach, there was nothing more to do than sit around and wait for lunch.
Yes, Julian, you do a very good impression of a snake.
No, it says do not tap or play with the glass, Camilla.
The Snake House restaurant exhibits Cambodian snakes inside terrarium tables that watch you eat Russian cuisine.
This is a restaurant where a thin piece of glass is the only thing separating you from being dinner for a poisonous snake.
How much buttery?
Might as well, yeah.
How about the same size as your one? Cheers.
As well as the occasional cute mammal thrown into the mix, the restaurant has a sad-looking crocodile chained up next to a concrete pool, specifically to scare the table for two nearby. I'd had enough of the beach and it was time to go somewhere more my scene, the ancient temples of Angkor Wat. I've seen my fair share of temples, and when I first visited Angkor Wat, I decided that Cambodia is worth visiting, if only to marvel at this beautiful relic. I couldn't wait.
Retracing our steps back to Phnom Penh, we then caught a river ferry to Siem Reap. The popular river ferry is an exciting alternative to those Cambodian roads, and for around $25 US, you'll get there in 5 hours, half the time. About 10 kilometres before we arrived in Siem Reap, we passed John Canal, a floating Vietnamese fishing village that tries to go about its daily life on water with a constant stream of tourist boats rocking their homes. Top Banana from Phnom Penh had arranged for his sister guest house in Siem Reap to pick us up, and I guess the sign reading Mr. Komilla was intended for me.
The people of Siem Reap have found their town inundated with tourists, for the simple reason that they live just a few kilometres from some of the most significant ancient constructions in the world.
Siem Reap is also the location of the Jayavarman 7 Children's Hospital, where the Swiss Dr. Beat Richner conceptualised a cello concerto and lecture on the health and socio-political problems that face Cambodia.
The health situation for children is worse than in Vietnam or Laos. There are two main reasons, and one main reason is the war, by the so-called secret war, by the Nixon-Kissinger administration in 1970, during 4 months by the B-52 bombers. They destroyed 2/5 of the country and they killed 500,000 civilians. They dropped more bombs, more heavy bombs than the Second World War here in Cambodia. The war was secret in front of the American people. And Kissinger is admitted now it was a huge mistake on every level. The hospital now, we have today 390 children hospitalized in Siem Reap, and 45% among these children are sick by tuberculosis, not only infected by tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is the killer number one, and is weakening the population, especially the children. In a school in Angkor Thom, 10 kilometers far away from Angkor Wat, we made a study. We made with all children CT scanner, and 25% among the healthy children are sick by tuberculosis.
Also known as Bitocello, he first came to Cambodia in the 70s, but was forced out by the Khmer Rouge, only to return in 1992 to transform the healthcare system here.
And so we treated the last 11 years 4.2 million children. And the average time is 5 days in the hospital, and the average cost per hospitalization is $210. And 80% would not have a chance to survive without this $210. All children are treated free of charge. No one child has to pay, no one family. The people are poor here. 95% among the hospitalized families here in Siem Reap could not pay $1. There's no cash. And without this money, you can no more go on. These children have no chance. This is a real problem.
You need at least 2 full days to see most of Angkor Wat's temples, as they are scattered over 65 kilometres. Built between the 8th and the 13th centuries, Angkor Wat ranges from single towers made of bricks to vast stone temple complexes. The massive Bayon was built by Jayavarman VII between 1181 and 1220. The remarkable third level has 54 towers, each side carved with a compassionate Buddha face, staring at you wherever you look.
Look at this, not even a stair.
Who built these stairs? They're, for as advanced as they are, they're kind of bad. You climb them like a monkey.
Yeah, it's quite difficult, isn't it? They're getting smaller and smaller.
Almost there. I'm beating you for the first time, Julian.
I think I've just decided that I don't like heights.
Yes.
Oh.
Getting down will be worse. Surrounded by a moat 570 feet wide is the supreme masterpiece of Khmer architecture, Angkor Wat. The mass of bas-relief carving is beautifully executed, and they contain the most complete record of Hindu mythology ever made. I'm not surprised they have a mole. Hello.
Hello.
Ta Prohm has hardly been restored at all, and it is still encroached by the surrounding jungle, crushing the great blocks of stone like slowly closing fists. Perhaps it's this testament to the force of nature that makes it one of the most popular temples to visit. So there are plenty of tour groups hanging on to their guides' every fascinating word. Not having our own guide, we listened in for free.
We can find him out. Yeah, he coming.
No, you shouldn't hear what this guy's job is. He has been given a gun, and if anyone steals any of the Buddha's heads, he has to shoot them.
Oh, is that your job?
Yeah.
How many people have you shot?
Yeah, I live here every day, 5 years. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, that time,
Yeah,
night time.
and 9 years old, 10 years old, I shoot to still.
Really?
Yeah.
You've shot people?
Yeah.
How many?
9 years old.
9 years old.
Yeah.
You shot a
Yeah,
9-year-old?
10 years old. Yeah. Have the money stolen.
Yeah.
Every day, no problem.
Okay. Say you, say me. The acoustics in this place are great.
Beating your chest in the Hall of Echoes produces a deep resonance.
Maybe very good.
Outside was a suspicious-looking policeman. When he showed us his identification badge, it turned out to be for sale.
$2.
$2 for a real police badge.
How many do you have?
I tell my boss I have more. You like?
Oh, I know. Give me your student identity card and we'll put that in a little bit. Give it to you now.
Okay.
Policeman.
Yeah, he has a police badge. When can we buy uniform? We can buy uniform?
Sure. $40.
$40.
D.
And the hat?
No hat.
No hat.
No hat.
You like the hat?
You like the hat? 50.
$50.
50 with the hat.
It's expensive, yeah.
$100 US for Cambodian policeman's outfit. Maybe we think it.
Hours of wandering, and I never got bored with new discoveries in each little alcove.
She has been okay.
Angelina Jolie jumped and dived around here when Hollywood rode into town to shoot Tomb Raider amongst these ruins.
Climbing the steep path of Phnom Baking is best done at sunset, and that's also the time that most of the crowds climb this 9th century Hindu temple to worship the panoramic views over all of Angkor. Angkor Wat itself is estimated to have been built with as much stone as the Great Pyramid Khafra in Egypt. It deserves its place as one of the most important ancient structures on our planet.
Our 2 days at Angkor Wat were at an end, and we hadn't even seen half of it. But you can see the whole thing in one afternoon, built in D. Brown's back garden.
I made miniature Angkor Wat. Is this?
Mini Angkor Wat is a work in progress by the charming 67-year-old sculptor who rushed to show us his gold cup of honour that he received from the King of Cambodia.
This is my photo.
The visit from His Majesty King Sunak brought the artist praise and honour, but he is struggling to support his family and he can't afford to complete his replica of Angkor's Bayon Temple.
He worked on blueprints for a research project in the 1960s, so he knows every nook and cranny, and this is evident in every hand-carved aspect of his miniature masterpiece. We left Cambodia as we had entered, shaken along on one of its appallingly bad, dusty roads. We made our way to the border, piled in the back with a head count of 17 others.
We had come full circle, only we left with none of the hassle and stress that had welcomed us. Instead, an enjoyable, if a little uncomfortable, exit.
Cambodia had met me with a barrage of aggression, but perhaps it is this fighting spirit that has kept it alive through some of the darkest moments of modern history. Cambodia is a country which holds a powerful beauty in its heart of darkness.
Despite my rough introduction to Cambodia, this amazing country redeemed itself pretty quickly. I look forward to my next visit to witness its further progress.